What if I told you that change you've been praying for has already begun? Not outside you, but inside you. Just pause for a moment and think about this. Have you been feeling restless lately? Like the things that used to comfort you suddenly feel too small? Like something deep in your spirit is shifting, quietly, secretly, powerfully? What if that's not confusion? What if that's preparation? What if the thoughts that keep returning to your heart, the vision you can't shake, the peace you can't explain, aren't accidents at all? What if God is already rearranging your life piece by piece before you even realize it? Listen to me. The signs are there. The stirring is real. The change has already started. And by the time you finish this message, you'll understand exactly why you've been feeling what you've been feeling. And you'll know without a doubt that God is getting ready to shift your entire story. So stay with me. Because when God begins preparing someone for a significant transformation, the process rarely begins with dramatic signs or extraordinary moments. Instead, it often starts with a quiet inner awareness, something you feel before you can fully understand. It may show up as a gentle sense that something in your life needs to shift, even if you can't articulate why. You may start noticing thoughts that weren't there before, ideas you hadn't considered, or a new desire pulling you in a direction that once felt unfamiliar. This is how God often initiates change, through small impressions that settle into your heart long before visible change appears. These early impressions can feel like a soft tension between where you are and where you are supposed to be. You might feel uncomfortable with situations that once felt normal, or feel drawn to areas of growth you previously avoided. You may find yourself reflecting more deeply, questioning your routines, or sensing that the path you're on is no longer aligned with your spirit. These subtle internal shifts are not random. They are signals that God is guiding you towards something greater. Another way this spiritual movement begins is through a quiet awakening of awareness. You may start noticing patterns you previously overlooked, a conversation that resonates deeply, a message that speaks directly to your situation, or repeated reminders pointing you toward change. Even small moments, an encouraging word, a moment of silence, a scripture that suddenly feels alive, can carry meaning. They seem ordinary, yet they carry a weight that is hard to ignore. In these subtle encounters, God is gradually preparing your heart to receive something new. Sometimes these early signs feel like a renewed longing for clarity, purpose, or direction. You may develop an unexplainable desire to seek more of God, to reflect, or to pursue growth. This inner pull is a form of preparation. Before God changes your circumstances, He first shifts something inside you. He reshapes your perception, strengthens your faith, and aligns your thoughts with His plan. And although these beginnings may seem quiet, they are incredibly powerful. They mark the early stages of a divine transformation that is already unfolding. If you pay attention to these gentle indications, you will begin to recognize that God's work has already started long before the visible breakthrough arrives. There are seasons in life when everything feels slightly off, even when nothing is obviously wrong on the surface. What once felt comfortable no longer brings peace. What used to fit your life suddenly feels tight, restrictive, or outdated. This inner uneasiness is not a coincidence. It is often part of a spiritual shift that prepares you for a new chapter. When God is guiding you toward growth, He often begins by loosening your attachment to places, habits, and mindsets that can no longer support where He is taking you. This inner tension may show up as a sense that you've outgrown certain environments. You may find it harder to stay in situations that once felt easy. Conversations that once entertained you feel empty. Goals you once chased lose their appeal. You might not be able to define what you want next, but you can clearly sense that this is no longer it. That internal pull is often the early stage of God moving you away from what is familiar in order to position you for something better. Closed opportunities may appear during this time, not as punishment but as protection. When a door shuts that you desperately wanted open, it can feel discouraging, but spiritually, it may be God preventing you from settling for something beneath His plan. These barriers are often divine redirections, guiding you away from paths that would drain your purpose or limit your future. What feels like loss is often preservation. What feels like delay is often alignment. The restlessness is also part of this process. It is the soul's response when God is stirring you toward movement. You might feel a deep urge to change something in your life, even though you cannot pinpoint what needs to change. This internal urgency is meant to awaken you to possibility. It shakes you enough to make you pay attention, reflect, and seek direction. Without this discomfort, you might remain stuck in routines that no longer reflect your calling. These unsettling emotions are not signs that your life is falling apart. They are indicators that a new season is forming. They push you to evaluate, grow, and listen more closely to God's leading. When you begin to sense these internal shifts, understand that you are being prepared. What once felt comfortable is fading because you're being guided to something greater, and the transformation begins, long before you see it with your natural eyes. There are moments in life when new elements suddenly begin to enter your world. Fresh ideas, unfamiliar paths, surprising encounters, and meaningful conversations that seem to arrive out of nowhere. These moments often act as subtle signals that transformation is in motion. They are not random interruptions. They are purposeful alignments placed along your journey to guide you toward a new direction. When God begins positioning you for a shift, He often orchestrates circumstances that introduce you to what you need before you even know you need it. Sometimes this comes through meeting someone whose presence changes your perspective. It could be a mentor who speaks wisdom into your life, a friend who challenges you to grow, or even a brief conversation with a stranger that resonates deeply. These interactions have a way of awakening something inside you: clarity, courage, or renewed purpose. You may walk away thinking, that was exactly what I needed, even though you didn't go looking for it. That is the subtle fingerprint of divine timing. Other times these moments appear as new ideas that arise suddenly in your thoughts. You may gain a vision for a project, a business, a ministry, or a life change that you never previously considered. The idea may start small, but it carries a weight that stays with you. It keeps returning to your mind, nudging you to take it seriously. Such inspiration often acts as a seed planted in your heart, indicating that God is preparing you to step into something greater. Shifts can also come through unexpected paths opening in front of you. Opportunities that you didn't pursue, but somehow found their way to you. Perhaps you receive an invitation, a job offer, a chance to serve, or a resource that aligns perfectly with your growth. At times, it may seem too perfectly timed to be coincidence. These openings appear just when you begin sensing the need for change, confirming that the next chapter is already being arranged for you. These experiences remind you that God works through alignment, not accident. Brings the right elements into your life at the right moment so you can move from where you are to where He intends you to be. When you begin noticing these meaningful connections, inspired ideas, and well-timed opportunities, it is often a sign that a new season is unfolding, one that will guide you toward deeper purpose, greater clarity, and a future that was being prepared long before you recognized the signs. There are certain seasons in life when your heart begins to crave a deeper connection with God. Even if you can't explain why, you may find yourself longing for quiet moments, turning inward, searching for meaning, or feeling drawn to conversations that uplift your spirit. This inner pull isn't random. It reflects a spiritual stirring within you, indicating that something significant is happening beneath the surface. It's as if your soul starts leaning toward God, seeking clarity, direction, or renewal in a way it previously didn't. During these times, your thoughts may shift. You might begin reflecting on your life with more seriousness. Your decisions, your relationships, your purpose. Things you once overlooked suddenly feel important. You may sense the need to pause, breathe, and evaluate where you're going. This internal reflection isn't just emotional introspection, it is often a sign that God is drawing your heart closer so you can hear His guidance more clearly. This inner awakening can also show up as a desire to step away from noise and distractions. The things that once entertained you may feel empty or draining. Instead of escaping through busyness, you begin craving stillness. You want space to think, hear, and understand. This shift often means your spirit is preparing itself for insight or alignment that you didn't even realize you needed. At times, you might feel an urge to seek wisdom, whether through scripture, spiritual teachings, conversations with mature believers, or personal journaling. You may feel compelled to ask deeper questions. Why am I here? What is God trying to show me? What needs to change in my life? These questions signal growth. They show that your heart is no longer satisfied with surface-level understanding. You are being drawn toward depth, truth, and purpose. This stirring may also come with a sense of conviction, not condemnation, but gentle awareness. You might begin noticing habits that no longer align with who you're becoming. You may feel a pull to forgive, let go, heal, or shift your priorities. This clarity is part of God's preparation, shaping your character for what He is leading you into next. When your heart begins to hunger for meaning, direction, and spiritual grounding, it is often the early stage of transformation. This internal shift creates space for God to reveal what He has been preparing all along. It is a sign that your spirit is waking up, your perspective is being reshaped, and you are being positioned for a new level of understanding and purpose. There are moments in life when something inside you begins to rise, a thought, a dream, an idea, or a sense of responsibility that refuses to stay quiet. It might have started as a small desire years ago, but now it feels heavier, clearer, and impossible to ignore. This inner pull is often a sign that you are being prepared for a new season. It is a stirring deep within the soul that signals that you are being shaped for something greater than what you are currently experiencing. This internal shift can manifest as a growing awareness of what truly matters to you. You may suddenly feel drawn toward a mission, a calling, or a specific direction that aligns with your deepest values. It could be an urge to help others, build something meaningful, step into leadership, start a project, or live more intentionally. Even if the path is unclear, the longing within you intensifies. You find yourself thinking about it repeatedly, feeling connected to it in moments of silence and sensing that it carries significance beyond your imagination. At the same time, this inner vision often comes with a sense of burden, not in a negative sense, but as a weight of responsibility. You feel accountable to what you are sensing. You can no longer pretend you don't care. You can no longer silence the voice urging you to move forward. This burden becomes a guiding force, pushing you toward courage, even when you still feel uncertain or unqualified. It whispers that there is something you are meant to do, and that ignoring it will only leave your heart unsettled. This inner awakening also has a clarifying effect. It begins to separate what is meaningful from what is merely comfortable. You may lose interest in distractions or pursuits that once consumed your time. Priorities shift, values reorganize themselves. Your heart becomes more focused, more intentional, and more sensitive to the direction you feel drawn toward. This clarity is a sign that preparation is underway. Your internal world is being aligned with something greater. Even fears and doubts may still be present, but they no longer dominate. The vision within you begins to outweigh the worries around you. The desire to step into your calling becomes stronger than the desire to stay safe. This inner strengthening is not accidental. It is a sign that growth has already begun. When your heart starts embracing a deeper purpose, it means you are being shaped, empowered, and readied for a future God has already prepared. There are seasons in life when everything around you feels uncertain. Circumstances shift, plans collapse, and the future seems difficult to predict. Yet, in the midst of this instability, you may find yourself experiencing an unusual calmness. It is not denial nor ignorance of reality. It is a quiet strength that settles in your heart, holding you steady even when situations appear overwhelming. This kind of inner calm is not something you generate on your own. It is a spiritual reassurance that you are not navigating your challenges alone. This inner steadiness can appear suddenly or it might grow gradually. You may wake up one morning and realize that something inside you feels different. You are not panicking the way you used to, you are not overthinking the way you once did, and the weight of your circumstances doesn't crush you the way it used to. This shift doesn't mean your problems have disappeared. It means your heart has gained a deeper awareness of God's presence, even if you cannot explain it logically. During these times, you may begin to notice that your reactions change. Instead of responding with fear, you begin responding with patience. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel anchored. Situations that once triggered anxiety now feel manageable. It becomes clear that your strength is not coming from your own ability, but from something far greater holding you together. This internal balance is a sign that divine assurance is working within you. This sense of calm can also lead to clarity. When your emotions are not drowning your thoughts, you begin to see things differently. Decisions feel more guided, choices feel less confusing. You may feel a gentle confidence that everything will work out even though you cannot see the full picture yet. This clarity does not come from understanding the situation. It comes from trusting the one who does. This inner rest can also protect your heart from discouragement. Even when challenges arise, you feel grounded. Even when people doubt you, you feel secure. Even when solutions are not visible, you feel supported. Such confidence cannot be fabricated. It is a sign that God is aligning your spirit with His peace, so you can walk through your season with strength. When an unexplainable calm settles over your life during your greatest uncertainties, it is a powerful indication that God is already at work. This peace prepares you for the breakthrough ahead, reminding you that you are being G. As we come to the close of this message, I want you to understand something deeply important. God never begins a transformation by changing your circumstances first. He begins by changing you. Every stirring in your spirit, every moment of restlessness, every unexpected alignment, every calling that grows louder inside you, and every unexplainable calm you feel in the middle of life's storms, all of it is part of His preparation. These are not random emotions, coincidences, or passing seasons. They are signals that heaven is moving on your behalf. The shifts inside your heart are often the first signs that a new chapter is forming. When something within you starts to awaken, it means God is already working long before you see visible results. Pay attention to these signs, honor them, lean into them, because the transformation God is preparing for you is not small. It is purposeful, powerful, and perfectly timed. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are standing on the edge of something significant. The process may feel slow, but God is shaping you into someone who can carry the blessing He is sending. Hold on to faith, remain sensitive to His guidance, and trust that every step, both visible and hidden, is part of your destiny being unlocked. Your breakthrough is not a distant dream. Your change is not a faraway possibility. It is already unfolding within you. And when the moment comes, you will look back and realize that God was preparing you the entire time. Thank you for giving your heart and your attention to this message. I'm truly grateful for the chance to speak life, strength, and clarity into your journey. As you step into your next season, I pray that courage rises within you, peace anchors you, and purpose guides your every step. May you walk with confidence, recognizing the signs God is placing before you. May your spirit stay open, your heart stay strong, and your faith stay unshakable. Good luck on this incredible journey ahead. Your breakthrough is already on its way. Thank you, and may God bless you richly.